Yo, what is up, guys? It is Nato here, and today we're back with another fighting game news for a month, and this time we're talking about November. Now, it's near the end of the year. We only have like one more month because it's September 1st right now. We don't have that much to talk about here, to be honest, for you in November. So this is gonna be a very short video, and probably it will be the same a bit for December as well. Maybe a bit more because Game Awards and such, we might see a bit more, but it's gonna be a very short video. Now, if you want to skip to a certain section, you can. And I will leave timestamps in the video so you can just skip anywhere you want to. But like I said, it's going to be a pretty short video, I think. So skip to a certain section if you want to. And if I did miss anything, please let me know. But because I really can't. I tried looking. Like, I don't know what else came out this month, honestly. So the first thing we're going to be talking about here is going to be the Mr. Big trailer. Now, I want to say this trailer was like a solid... If I have to give it a grade, like a letter grade, I would give it like a C. Like, it wasn't like Mr. Big coming back in the series. That's cool. That's actually, I think actually some people quite literally did want him in like Kaiser. I think people want Kaiser more. So it's cool that he's in the game. Like, I'm actually fine with this. That's a great decision. Cool, awesome. The trailer, how they delivered everything, like this was just like, hey, we're just shipping this trailer out. Like, like we're just finishing it up so we can go to season 2. That's what this trailer felt like. So it wasn't really that good of a trailer. I do find his voice actor interesting. I think it is the voice actor of Mario or something like that from like the Mario movie, not like the anime one, but like the classic one. I think I could be wrong. It's some voice actor for Mario, I believe, or Luigi. Can't remember for sure, but that's what I did here. So that's kind of cool about that concept. How do I feel about his gameplay? It doesn't look bad, but they didn't really like, this trailer just wasn't really that good for me to like really judge the character fully. Like, we've only seen one of his supers, and that's it. And his ultimate, I think the beginning part is really cool, but the ending and how it cuts to his like, his win animation, it didn't look that good, bro, at the end. So I need to see it fully, like what he does after and such, because so far it didn't seem that impressive. And I also like how for the silhouette for him, they actually gave him he actually had black hair, so they made him older. Because I'm like, man, I could have sworn he had black hair, like the silhouette for him, but they just aged him up a lot, so he has white hair now. So I thought that was funny. But yeah, that's kind of how I feel about the trailer so far, at least in my head. I believe he comes out December 9th. I think it says it in the trailer, so not really far away. Literally a week, and he's out. So yeah. But that should be the end of Season 1 for Fatal Fury: Season of the Wolves. I'm really curious what Season 2 is going to bring. Hopefully, it brings like some characters that people really, really want. Like, if they do add a guest character, make it be from SNK. Like, if we get a Kyo, brother, I'm hopping on the game. I'm going to be honest, that's my boy. So, I like something like that to like motivate people to really play the game. Because I think the game is good, but it just doesn't make you want to get on the game. Like, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay, but it needs a little bit more oomph, because I don't think Season 1 did too well, especially like with the characters that were just in the game base. It just did not make people want to get the game. So I'm hoping better for this series, and yeah, that's all the news for Fatal Fury: Season of the Wolves. Moving on to the next game. The next game we're going to be talking about here is going to be Avatar Legends, the fighting game. Now, for this, we have like two, I don't want to say trailers, but I want to say teasers that we have to talk about, because one of them is just like a breakdown of the system mechanics, which is essentially the game has variations, if you will. And so this game potentially could not have a big roster, thinking about it now, because how the supports, if they're not playable, because for example, I think Uncle Iroh is support for Zuko, so that means he might not be playable, which is like crazy to think about, but it is what it is if that's the case. So it's gonna be probably a small roster if that is. But essentially, what they do is like they alternate your character and their abilities. For example, Momo for Aang, he helps him do more gliding stuff. Like I think he's able to cancel stuff faster with glides and do multiple routes with gliding. So that's like an example for that. And Appa does stuff for like the flow state, which the flow state is essentially like kind of like parrying, if you will, but we don't know what you get. Like if you get plus frames, what type of advantage you get. Like, because we don't know if you need meter to use it or anything like that. They didn't break that down. But it's just a thing that you can do, so that's interesting, if you will, because it is a 4-button game. But that's essentially like the first trailer teaser thing they talked about. Is like there essentially is variations for everybody. Everybody has 3, and the other one is just like a breakthrough of Aang, what he can do, like his moveset. They didn't necessarily show any supers or anything, so we don't know how the inputs for like supers but we do know 4-button game. So light, medium, heavy, and flow. That's pretty much it, and you can combine them to make other stuff with it. So yeah. Now Aang seems kinda crazy. Some people say that he's like Swift Master, and I can definitely see that because of like him moving you around, like just with the wind. Like he could just do it like an ability, so that's pretty crazy. So I'm really curious what other characters, like what other crazy things they can do, because I'm like, man, the mobility is dummy insane with that. So I'm genuinely curious how that's gonna work for him and his combos, because at the end they show like a pretty cool combo with him. So I want to see what Azula's talking about, especially because she is in the game. We do know that for a fact, and I wonder what other characters gonna have. But so far, the gameplay of what you can do is really creative, especially how, and at least in the beginning of the trailer, they show a counter hit that's kind of I guess the best way it really reminds me of is Soul Calibur, where like you get super launched up in the air. I don't know how that works exactly. I forget what that is called, but you just get launched in the air, and then you can get a combo off of them because they're like sky high. Essentially, that's essentially what they have. I'm not sure if it's a certain button to do that, or if that's just going to be all counter hits, or maybe like a launcher thing or something. I don't know, but it looks pretty cool. So there's going to be a heavy combo potential in this game for sure. I wonder if there's going to be like a thing if you hit them too much, like they fall out or something, or what. I'm really curious how they're going to go about that. But so far, it does not look that bad, actually. So I'm very invested to see what other things you can do in this game, because this does look very interesting, especially since there is the variation system. So your characters, well, you'll essentially have one character that can do, how do I describe it? You have one character that's like 3 other characters essentially, because they can do other things. But it's a bit different here because it does alternate a bit of their stuff to make them a bit better, but that's essentially it, really. So I guess you can't really say it's like having other characters per se, but we'll have to wait and see like how it affects other characters besides Aang. So yeah. But either way, that's pretty much all the news for the Avatar Legends, the fighting game. That needs a different name. Goodness. And moving on to the next and final game to talk about. The last game we're going to be talking about is going to be Ultimate Wars Capcom 3, the character swap stuff, because they have another trailer for more characters going to be added to the game. And I couldn't find any for, like I said, fighting game news, and this one seemed pretty cool, so I want to talk about it here. So, the first trailer, or the first character they showed, is my favorite Darkstalkers character. Well, yeah, because like I'm thinking here, because like I like Jedha and John Talbane. But Dimitri, I think, is my favorite. Like, yeah, if I play the game, I'm going to be maining him if there's another Darkstalkers game. And, dude, look, my boy Dimitri looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie to you. I actually like what they did with him. Especially, they added all of his stuff, Gamma Ray, Mad Cradle, and all that stuff in a really cool way. And he actually can go in his vampire mode, like just fully. And that's never really, well, you can't do that in Darkstalkers unless it's like a super, then it shows it. But it's cool that that's like a double trigger, if you will, in the game. I like that a lot, and his movement looks cool. They did add, I forget what the special is called. Not Midnight Bliss, but the other one where he just bites you repeatedly. Like he beats you up, then it bites you repeatedly, then throws you. I forget what that one's called. But I'm glad they added that. I don't think that's a special. I think that's just a thing he can do, which is cool. But they added Midnight, I think it's Bliss or Pleasure, as his ultimate, which is the one where he turns into a girl. But they turn it off screen because they ain't doing that with every character. That's too much work, bro. Especially with all the other ones, that's not gonna work. And I just appreciate that they do have it. But I will say, if there is ever a Darkstalkers game, I hope that is not his ultimate. I hope that's like just a level 1 or something like that, because I think he should have something like actually like ultimate wise for his ultimate. I feel as if that's always like a goofy super, but like it's supposed to be cool. Like that's why the other one where he bites you a whole bunch and beats you up is like his strongest attack. So I'm hoping for that, just for reference for Darkstalker in the future, which I think we will get eventually. Just is going to take some time. And then the next character they show is Robbie Reyes, Ghost Rider, which is cool because like, man, we're seeing him a bit more now because, you know, he's in Marvel Tokon and now he's here. So that's actually kind of cool. And his combos seem kind of crazy, and the fact that he can just summon the car is pretty cool. And it's cool to hear like dialogue with a Ghost Rider, because you don't, like regular Ghost Rider, you don't really hear him talk. So it's like cool. This is cool. I actually like that a lot. So that's like all I can really say there, because I'm like he wasn't the really one I was looking forward to in this trailer, because when I saw it, I'm like, oh, Dimitri. I thought but Ghost Rider Robbie Reyes, that is pretty neat. I actually like that. I think his supers are relatively cool. They're not amazing, at least to me, but they're not bad. They're not bad. They did a great job with that. The next character they showed after that, though, threw me off a little bit. It's Professor X from COTW. Now, I don't really know the lore and story of this one too much. Like, I've seen him before, so I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on. So, to me, this looks weird. Like, I understand adding Mr. X because... I mean, Professor X? Mr. X? What the freak? Professor X because, people have actually always wanted to have him in a game, just like in a wheelchair though, to be goofy. Like he grabs you, actually like does some goofy stuff. Because I think they've added that in one X-Men fighting game before, not like a traditional, but like just a different one. And like this, I always thought that was funny. But they're like, oh no, this is just like a different version of Mr. X. Mr. X, oh, goodness, Professor X that can fight. I'm thinking of Resident Evil for some reason. I don't know why. But to me, gameplay was not to my liking per se. Like I wasn't really feeling it per se. I think what they were showing was cool, but it wasn't blowing my mind. Like Dimitri, I'm like, yeah. Robbie, yeah. This, I'm like, yeah. And then after that, they showed a character that's like, woo. Okay, they showed the savior after that, which is a Cable. I'm genuinely surprised. No one has done this sooner. Honestly, thinking about it now, like Cable, like Cyclops first makes sense, but I'm like, man, Cable should be soon, right? And here is Cable now. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, if you already have Marvel's Capcom 3, I'm surprised you have not added like mods like this to the game, because it just makes it better. And I think you can play them online, so it's like, dude, what are you doing, you know? Or if you can't, I think you can still use Fightcade, so that works too, either way. But this is just cool, like, generally. He has Hyper Viper Beam, you can move it around and stuff like that. He actually has an ultimate that looks really good too. And it's like you can actually play with all the Summer family, if you will. You can play with Jean, you can play with Scott and Cable, like the whole family's together. It fits. So I'm generally surprised, just surprised, because I did get one of the character swaps thing. Because I got to use Cyclops, Red She-Hulk, and I think Carnage. That's the one. That's the time when I played it a little bit, but that's all I can remember, at least right now. I forget who else was in there because I was waiting for Nero. I'm not sure if that one had Nero or not, but yeah. But either way, pretty cool that they added him. And then lastly, they added Dudley. Now, I think Cable, Dudley, and I think Robbie are probably going to be like the heavy hitters of this character swap thing, in my opinion. Because as much as I like Dimitri and love him as a character, like I think he's so cool, I think he'll be fourth, like when it comes to this. So, well, no, maybe to certain people it could be, you know, up there with 3. But I think these are the heroes of this character swap thing, if you will. And Dudley plays exactly how Dudley should play. There's not much I can really say about it, because I'm like, yeah, this is like how Smug plays Dudley, to be honest, except Marvel's Capcom format, if you will. Like, he literally has all of his supers from Ultra Street Fighter 4, and yeah, I know he can even use Rose, and it does damage, so they even do show that and tease that. So it's like, okay, this is just Dudley from Street Fighter 4 ported into Marvel's Capcom exactly, and it works. It generally does work, so he does look good while he's fighting. They did a great job with his level 1, and I guess his other level 1, if you will, which is Corkscrew, Blow. I forget what the uppercut's called. I think he has Rolling Thunder, I think, in the trailer, if I remember correctly. I would have to replay it. I'm just kind of doing this raw. And his level 3, I forget what it's called, but that means you can't really hit multiple people with it, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is, so it's still going to be good. It's going to do a lot of damage, so it'll definitely kill someone, especially with X Factor, like, duh. But he looks fun, generally fun. For me, Dimitri was like the cool part of this character reveal for me, but the rest of these other characters were pretty cool. Besides, you know, Professor X, I was like, eh. But everybody else, I'm like, okay, cool, you know. But yeah, I'm curious what other characters are going to be added for the potential future for this, because this was pretty cool. Like, generally, this was actually pretty awesome. But yeah, there is one more thing I could mention per se, I guess, which is the Invincible versus Alpha, or closed beta. I think it's closed beta or alpha. That's closed, something like that. That happened in November. I forgot to sign up, so that's why I didn't make it at all, unfortunately. So that's why there was no content in this channel for it. You know, kind of messed up there. I'm sorry about that. But that did happen, and I did hear good things about that. But besides that, that is relatively it. That is pretty much it for fighting game news for a month for November. If I did miss anything, let me know down below, because it's a possibility that I might have, but I don't think I did. Because like last month I did miss one thing for Grand Blue for the Meg trailer, which I'm sorry about, by the way. But I corrected it in the comment section, like, hey, I missed this. So yeah. But either way, I hope you guys have a great day, a great night, a great noon, or whatever time zone you guys live at, man. And I will see you guys in the next video.